Hi everyone, we are back with Endgames and today we are breaking through. Not literally, but we are going to talk about the important concept of pawn breakthroughs in chess. Now, this position might look completely theoretical, but I have seen it happen in games. And it's a position that's, at the back of the textbook. You kind of glance past it. You kind of remember how to do it, but it's always good to brush up and really get this memorized. And it's really simple, as we can see. We're going to take a look at this and some other positions of breaking through, working through the Chess Endings for Beginners book once again. And a lot of these cool positions are coming from this book, so I highly suggest you take a look. Now, this is our position we're working with. We have 3 pawns. Black has 3 pawns. Our kings are pretty much irrelevant. They're sitting in the corners of the board, and the pawns are doing all the work. This is where all the action is happening. So don't worry about the kings. Focus on the pawns. It's white's move, and what white wants to do is break through these wall of pawns and get at least 1 pawn through to the other side to promote. And you're going to do this by sacrificing 2 of your pawns and only keeping 1, which is going to be your promoting pawn. Simple way to remember this, rule number 1 is to move your pawn in the middle. So in this position, white is going to play b5. Now you are forcing black to capture. Of course, if black doesn't capture, you will capture one of these 2 pawns and easily promote. So black has to make it a little bit of a challenge and capture. So let's say the c pawn captures. This is our position right now. We are not going to capture black. In this whole position, there's going to be no capturing from white side. Instead, what we want to do is get one of our pawns through. Logically speaking, we have 2 pawns in this position. One of these pawns has a pawn in front of it opposing it, the other one doesn't. So, logically speaking, this is the pawn that we want to get through. Of course, we can't just push the pawn because black's, let's use an arrow here, black's b6 pawn is preventing our pawn from moving forward. Once we do move forward, black will just capture us. So the solution to this is to find a way to remove this b6 pawn from the equation, and we do that by pushing our a pawn forward. So an easier way to remember it is you're going to push the pawn that has a challenging pawn in front of it. And in this case, it's the a pawn. What we're doing is we're challenging the b6 pawn. If black captures us over here, we will just capture black, and we are 2 squares away from promoting with a check, whereas black is 3 squares away. So we will win that pawn race. Let's go back. Instead, black will most likely take our a5 pawn. Black has 3 pawns, but now our pawn, our lone soldier, has all the space it needs to move forward and promotes. The king is too far, our pawn will make it. This is the rule of the square, which we look at in a different video. The king does not make it in time, and we promote. And white wins. So easy as that. Just remember, first of all, push your center pawn forward, and then whichever pawn black captures with, you're going to push the pawn that has a challenger in front of it because you want to clear the way for your other pawn. In this case, it's the c pawn that has a challenger, so we will push c5, break through, and our pawn will march to victory. Let's take a look at another example from this book. We've added a few more pawns into the mix, which makes this easy. This is less theoretical, just a fun position to see what happens. The concept of breaking through is still important here. White wants to get at least 1 pawn through this wall of black pawns. There are a few ways to do this, but let's take a look. In this position, we'll play h5 as our first move, immediately challenging black. Let's say black captures us. Now, we're not going to capture. This is not a story about just you capture me, I capture you. No, we are wanting to make some sacrifices to have our pawns move forward. And here, our second pawn that we are going to move forward is going to be the E pawn. And that is, of course, white can't push F5. We will just capture. Now E pawn becomes, let's take a look. Black can't just push F5 because we will capture, and then black captures and our pawn. Of course, black will capture us. If black moves forward, we will just capture. If black captures, then we have a passed pawn. So going back, let's say black captures us over here. And now, easy stuff, we just move one of these pawns forward. We're going to use the F pawn to push forward because, importantly, the F8 square is looking right at this black king. So when we promote, it will be with a check. So white moves his pawn forward, and this is basically just one for white. Black can capture our F pawn, or black can try and get a queen themselves. Doesn't matter. We're winning this pawn race simply because F8 comes with a check. Black moves out of the way, and then we'll stop this H pawn. We'll capture all of the pawns and save the day. So there are a few other examples of breaking through, but these are basics that you need to know, and go ahead and test yourself out. So see you next time in our endgame series.